Hello and welcome to the finale of the GT4 Sprint Cup by New Dimension Racing in Live for Speed, the final round, round 3 at Rockingham ISSC. Welcome along. We have a packed grid once again, which means we're going to be having a split qualifying session, the same as we did last time. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching SimBroadcasts.tv, and joining me in the commentary box this evening, it's Eoin Harmon. Welcome along, Eoin.
Thanks very much, Pete. Yeah, it's a big deal to be subbing in on Travis's behalf, but yeah, I hope to make this special conclusion to this mini season.
Yeah, Travis is currently in Florida, enjoying the Daytona 24-hour for real, which is awesome. So we hope he enjoys it, and he'll be back hopefully for commentary later on for some other series we have going on the channel. So tonight it's me and Eoin, and we're going to be commentating over a 20-minute qualifying session, which is about to start, and then we're going to have two 20-minute races with a lap added onto each. Tonight's qualifying session is going to be two 10-minute sessions because of just the sheer amount of cars we have, and it looks like that's kicking off in the background almost as we speak. So yeah, we'll get those pictures to you in just a moment's time. The car, as you've seen in the previous two rounds, is the N400S GT4 by Alexander 124 Russ in collaboration with Zip LFS. We've had a lot of fun commentating over this, Eoin, and from your experience of watching the broadcasts, how does it look from the outside?
Yeah, watching on, and I even drove it briefly during December just to see what it was like. Yeah, it definitely fits the bill. It cooperates pretty well. Obviously the back end is very slippery, so yeah, the drivers have to temper the throttle. But yeah, it's a very raceable car, keeps up with each other good braking. So yeah, it should deliver a stern challenge, but a fun one here at Rockingham.
Fingers crossed for that. Here is the schedule. We've been to West Hill, we've been to Blackwood, and now we're at Rockingham ISSC for the final round. Let's have a quick look at the Drivers' Championship standings before we switch to the qualifying session. As you can see, there's actually no results on screen. Let's very quickly sort that out. It's Isaac Price who's leading the championship, and we don't have a Joe Holmes here today, so unless something goes completely wrong for Isaac, he has one or if not two hands on the trophy already. Gabor is here, however, and would like very much to take P2, I assume. So Gabor there in P3 currently, with Mantas Markovicius, who's done very decent job this season. Was slightly unlucky in round 1. Let's see what he can do today to challenge Gabor for that second place. Daniel Balla, Silva Agostino, Imran Azar, Martin Palm, Robin Nilsson and Patrick Hall are your top 10. Rick Carl there in the top of the second column. And we'll very quickly move over to the next page. A lot of drivers competing throughout the series, Eoin. Great to see full grids once again tonight as the cars make their way out onto the circuit in the background. Yeah, we'll have lots of time before the race to go through the rest of these. So let's go to the track and enjoy some qualifying action, Eoin, at Rockingham.
Yes, let's. And yeah, the busy track will be filtering in pretty quickly. Drivers don't have a lot of time to get their best hot laps in, so each session 10 minutes each for the variety of participants. So yeah, you got to find your gap in traffic, maybe relying on a bit of slipstream for the oval sector 1, and we'll just have to make sure everyone cooperates, make sure there's space. But yeah, maybe the teammates here, team side us, will have a look and say, yeah, give me a slipstream boost and I'll leave you alone for the rest of the lap. So that could be a little bit of tactics. But yeah, this is crucial. Everyone needs to pretty much nail it from either their first banker or their second. It's no time to waste.
No, the drivers are just starting their outlaps, so we should see some times coming in around about a minute and a half's time when the drivers start their timed laps.
So we're just following along with Rick Hardle here, heading down to the Dean hairpin. Yeah, here he goes for the braking zone. Got to mind his apexes here, and that's absolutely spot on. Beautiful exit. And now heading into Yentwood, minding the sausage curbs as always. It doesn't matter what you're driving, that will pose a threat to nearly any vehicle here at Rockingham. Oh, he maybe just missed out a little bit there. But yeah, he could rescue this through Piff.
Yeah, he's on a time lap heading through Gracelands now, in this wonderful mod, and down towards Tarzan. And
oh,
out
there's a
onto...
mistake. Isaac has made a mistake just out of the hairpin, so he's got to let Rick by there, and that's just one to chalk away and start over. The fuel hopefully has. He's got enough fuel on board to maybe try again. Yeah, the Bosnian just missed out on a decent lap there, but here comes Rick across the line. Can he set something competitive? He certainly can. 1:18.0. It's good enough for P2.
Yeah, in all the rounds so far, in rounds 1 and 2, the drivers have done one flying lap and then they've come straight into the pit lane to do a tyre change and in order to get fresh rubber for another lap. So I don't expect many of the drivers are going to be doing multiple timed laps on the bounce, but we'll have to wait and see. Mantas Markovicius, who takes his momentum from the previous 2 rounds into this one and sets a very, very nice provisional pole time, 0.3 of a second faster than anybody else at the moment. And remember, we have 2 qualifying sessions. The first is 10 minutes, of which there are 8 minutes-ish left, we believe. And then we're going to have another 10-minute session with the second half of the grid. As you can see there, Mantas goes into the pits, and we'll get a fresh set of rubber. As we're watching Petrov, number 5, heading his way down to the Brook chicane before he starts another lap. All 22 cars in the session have set a time, Eoin.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. So we'll see if this can get him working towards an improvement. Yes, it does, as a matter of fact. So he's gained 4 positions to 12th.
Yeah, and what can Gabor do? Gabor is live on Twitch at the moment. So you can go and check out his channel at Sidus Gabor, S1DUS Gabor, and watch his perspective of this race. So if you feel like doing that, you can do so. So yeah, nice to see that Gabor is streaming today. Gives you another perspective on the race. So fire that up in another window if you're so inclined. And yeah, in 6 and 3/4 minutes to go in this first session. Carolus Multijoitis currently in P9. What can he do to get further into the top 10? He's got Dan Balla just up ahead of him, 1/10 of a second. And Ipsal Augustin Ipsal is getting past some traffic, but currently P4, a very strong session from him as Gabor improves up to P3. And Patrick Hall is going on to a lap. So let's watch him around the Rockingham ISSC configuration. The drivers will try to use all of the apron on the inside here. You can see an extra white line has been added. That is allowed in the rule books. They can use all the apron that they want. And then heavy braking down into the Dean chicane. We've seen an accident, pretty big accident here already this season in the Ronnie's Tuesday Fun Race opener. Hopefully no repeats today. As we head through Yentwood up towards Chapman. And then a quick left-hander through Piff. We don't use PAF. And then out onto the steel straight before Gracelands. Very short straight before a long 90-degree left-hander with quite a wide exit over the AstroTurf. But Patrick doesn't need that as he gets on the brakes down into Tarzan. Oh, but he hooks the inside of the curb there with his front right, and that kind of unsettles the car a little bit. Over the pit entry AstroTurf of the school pits and then into the Brook chicane. Nicely gets the car slowed down and a little bit uncomfortable on the exit, not able to get the power down as early as he would have wanted to, but P12 currently for Patrick Hall. Can he improve at the end of the lap? He does, up to P8, Owen. 4 places gain.
Yeah, he recovered from that potential banana skin, and that gets him into the top 10 ahead of Dan Bala and Mata Jesus as well. So yeah, that's a solid enough run. He'll believe he can possibly dig out another 10th to tie with Agostino and Azar. Just 1/10 away, that's all.
Yeah, speaking of Agostino, he's just coming out of the pit lane to start another lap. He should have an opportunity to do at least one more timed lap with 4 minutes left on the clock for this first of 2 qualifying sessions. That is why there are only 23 cars on track. I say only 23. We have an enormous amount of drivers who have turned up for this race. Fantastic to see once again. And a lot of the drivers enjoying the idea of a short 3-round championship. Certainly working so far. Full attendance for all 3 rounds of the NDR GT4 Sprint Cup. In fact, oversubscribed, because there's going to be some drivers who will not make the cut today. Only the top 38 cars are going to qualify for the race.
Yeah, there's certainly no complacency allowed. If you're one of the drivers in this session, you haven't set a decent enough time, then you're highly vulnerable to being knocked out for the other drivers who are due to come in. So yeah, here's another opportunity to watch Gabor Gior. We'll see him on board now. He's got to make sure everyone's out of the way. So it should be a clean lap. Spin from Maciek, I've heard here, so let's try and see what may have happened.
Yeah, he's off on the left-hand side. You just saw it from Gabor's perspective. Hooked the curb and went off, but luckily no issues. But yeah, the Gabor is doing a very smooth lap here. He's currently half a second now off of Mantas. Mantas has improved yet again to a 17.56. Let's see what Gabor can manage as he is coming up on a little bit of traffic. Gets the rear out nicely into Tarzan, helps the car rotate on the power nice and early. Not too much wheel spin when he brought the throttle back on, using the engine to slow the car down as well. Bit deep into the first part of Brook, but he's going to get the car all hooked up on the exit and will get a distant toe off the car in front. Not too strong, but it all helps in the end. Across start finish he comes, and will it be an improvement? It is, but only gets back past Rick Cardor, who also improved. 0.3 of a second off Mantas. Mantas is absolutely on it this evening. And Gabor, will he have time to get around and start another lap? No, he will not. So he may be going for a second attempt on these tyres, but I don't think anybody else will be able to get back into the pit lane and out again to set a time. So yeah, let's see what Mantas can do on his final run. Gabor's tyres are pretty hot, so there won't be an improvement on this lap. So P2 at best, I think, for the Sidus driver.
Yeah, it's still a good showing here for Team Sidus. Getting drivers locked out in the top 5 at the very least, depending on how the likes of Isaac Price in Group 2 get along. So yeah, this is a good attempt here for Sidus to try and end this mini season on a great high.
Yeah, well, out of the final corner's going to come. Oh, he's gone deep into Brook. That's going to take a bunch of time away from Mantas Markavicius. But yeah, he's coming over start-finish. And actually, yeah, he doesn't improve, but he doesn't need to improve. Absolutely amazing time that he's set so far. Let's see if Rick Cardle can improve on this run. The only real other threat to Mantas. In fact, Rick's already on the third lap of his stint, so he's not going to improve on this run. And it does look as though Mantas may have done everything he needs to do. I wonder if anybody's going to make it across start-finish before the timer ends. I don't think so. Tifan Baker is the last car to get across start-finish to start a lap. Diepenbacher. Or Born to Race. So everybody else completing laps and making their way back to the pit lane as the clock hits 0 in this first of 2 10-minute qualifying sessions. Everybody who tries to set a time in the second part of qualifying will not be able to improve on the times you can already see. If they set the same time, they have to better the times on the board to get the position. So whoever wants pole position needs to get a 1 minute 17:55, which is a tall order. Can anybody manage that in the second session? We're watching Tiefenbacher through Brook. Currently P16. Will they improve?
He's going to hit the wall. Oh, he just missed it. Good dodge. But unfortunately, that's ruined his lap.
Yeah, no improvement there. And that is the end of the first half of qualifying. So there will be some drivers, all the drivers will return to the pit lane, and the second set of drivers will be called out to take their place at the end of the pit lane for the start of this second part of qualifying. But yeah, Mantas Markavicius ending up the session just under a tenth of a second ahead of Rick Cardle. So Rick Cardle did manage to improve quite significantly at the end of the session in putting in better laps all the time, but could only get P2. Mantas for Born to Race absolutely smashing the first half of qualifying. Brilliant effort. And beating out some big names.
Yeah, some big names definitely been put down by Mantas so far. And of course, yeah, the gauntlet has to be bettered by anyone in the second session in order to dislodge him from that pole.
Yeah, the second group of cars have now been summoned to come to the pit exit, so we should see a flurry of activity in the pit lane now as everybody makes their way down to the pit exit line. And yeah, we'll see who comes out in what order. Well, it's Carol Condrick who gets to the line first. It's Isaac Price who will line up behind him. So those two at the front of the line, ready to go out for the second part of qualifying. And the drivers will be sent out pretty soon to do their timed laps. But it will be Carol Condrick, the number 74, who will lead them all out. And judging by the first qualifying session, Eoin, the drivers are only going to manage 3 or 4 timed laps in the session because of how long it takes to come back round and change tyres. And we have a
Indeed.
green light at the end of pit lane. So all the drivers are sent on their way for some outlaps.
Yeah, this is a good time to space yourself between the opponents in front of you and behind you. So, yeah, normally, of course, the last round of Blackwood, that pit lane is very tricky with the braking zone into the first hairpin, for example. So, yeah, they do have a little bit of room with the apron to perhaps merge safely and build a gap so that then no one is in their way, and on the inverse, no one is being blocked by you too.
By my count, there are 13 cars in this session. So everybody of the cars that are currently on track should be able to make it into the race. Because by my maths, that adds up to 36 drivers. So a few drivers either late or deciding not to attend. That doesn't matter. We've still got an absolutely enormous grid in prospect here, as Isaac Price is the first to round the final corner.
Demko has spun it at the final chicane, and that'll cost him the chance to get a proper run at this lap, so he may have to start all over again.
We're riding on board with Isaac Price into the Dean hairpin. And let's see what he can get on his opening lap in this session. Managed to get past Carol Condrick pretty quickly on the outlap and sets himself up for essentially the cleanest lap that anybody will get today. No traffic ahead of him to worry about, so that all helps with the psychological preparation for your hot lap. If you're the first car out, you don't have anything to worry about ahead. There should be nobody in your way. Oh man, this is a super committed opening lap from Isaac. So smooth on the power, but it can all come undone quite quickly into Brook. Let's see what he can do. Oh, it's so smooth. Oh, look at that. Absolutely nails the final apex. This is going to be rapid. Is it quick enough to beat Mantas Malkovicius? Let's see. A 1:17.56 to beat.
Quite.
So let's see what we can get from Isaac. Isaac got P3. We're not seeing that on our timing screens. Apologies for that. So yeah, Isaac managing to get P3 in the end. And continues to circulate around.
Yeah, not quite smooth this lap. He may have just missed the braking zone by a few centimeters, but keep going. Make sure this is a strong platform just to make sure he can go again the next lap. Yeah, he decides to abandon the lap, so yeah, he knows what to do now. He's just a few tenths away from Smalkovicius, but it's going to require something a little bit special now.
Yeah, apologies for that. The timing is now correct. Isaac with P3, so he will get a new set of tyres and go out. I mean, that lap looked super quick, so you can just see the level that the two drivers ahead of him currently were working at. 0.3 of a second, the gap to pole position for Isaac there. He's going to be thinking, what do I need to do to beat these guys? And it's a tall order for sure. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to beat them. As Carol Condrick and Isaac back out on the track after their first timed attempts. Here's Demko. He had an issue on his outlap. Currently 34th position, driving for the SGR team. And here's Ronnie Krompush about to finish his first lap of the session, number 96. And actually he's bailed into the pit lane. He hasn't yet set a time, so he wasn't happy with that run, Eoin.
No, it's a shame. Yeah, Ronnie's just not able to log a lap in just yet. and it's over half the session realistically gone for him. We'll check out not only Steve Martin here, but also Condrick in the background. So yeah, we'll see how this close run thing can develop. So yeah, Stephen got the bonus point, I believe, for most positions gained.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he says to me, so I'll take his word for it. So he gained a lot of positions at Blackwood, so yeah, fair play to him. And it seems like that's Condrick backing off now, so it seems like he's just willing to find some space. He hasn't been able to maximise this lap time just yet.
Well, here he comes into the final chicane and into the pit lane to get some fresh rubber and start another timed lap. As Carol Condrick is coming out of the final corner to set his first timed lap of the session. Let's see where he can go. P35 only, so not. He won't be happy with that, I'm sure. We've got Nikitin also coming out of the final corner to set, to start a timed lap. So he's currently P23. And Isaac's up to full chat. He's coming into Gracelands on a hot lap. As he makes his way down to Tarzan for the second time in qualifying, while at full anger. And it looks like we've got some grid penalties that have been announced by Race Control. We'll go over those at the end of the session. But Race Control already busy, Eoin, during qualifying.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. So yeah, there's no rest for the weary up in Race Control. So yeah, they've got to be absolutely on the ball.
Oh, he's done it.
Wow. Splendid work there. He's done it by over a tenth.
Yeah. 12 hundredths of a second. Isaac Price takes pole position. A little bit under the radar. I didn't see that happening. But there we go. 3 perfect sectors, pretty much, from Isaac. Steals the provisional pole position away from Mantas. But yeah, Isaac wants to win this one from the front by the looks of it. Absolutely amazing lap time. Is there anybody else in this session who can even challenge for that? Nico Pantola, probably the next driver on the road who can even challenge. He's currently P5, but half a second off of Isaac's time that he just set there. So yeah, Isaac Price with 2 wins so far in GT4 Sprint Cup. Joe Holmes with the other 2 wins. But Joe Holmes not here today, so we will have a different feel, a different look to the winners today for sure. Can Isaac make it 2 from 2, or can Mantas, Ricardo Gabor or Nico Pantola, who look to be the strongest so far, can they get a race win today? Race 2, of course, has a reversed top 10, just to spice things up a little bit, as Nico is coming to the end of his out lap, and we're going to watch him do a hot lap. So no pressure, Nico. I'm going to ride on board with him out of the final corner and see what he can do. Can he get pole position? Can he get further up the order as he winds the car up? The N400S GT4. We've really enjoyed watching this car so far in the 4 races we've seen, and we've got 2 more to look forward to tonight. Car leaving pit lane on his left, he'll be aware of it, but we'll know he'll be ahead before he gets on the brakes. Needs to spot the first apex and get the car over to the left hand side for the next one, and not too much slide, and he doesn't use all the curb on the right hand side. He doesn't use all the road as we head into Yentwood over the artificial grass. A little bit of soaring at the wheel, Eoin, but a bit of a ragged opening.
Yeah, he's got to calm it down into the second sector, particularly with Gracelands. That one is very, very tricky. If your entry point is too quick, for example, so he's down 150 kilometers per hour. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a slide now on the artificial grass. So this one does not appear to be a second row caliber lap, I'm afraid. But yeah, he may pull it out of the bag here into the final chicane.
There's so much time to be made on the brakes, but he's gone deep.
He's given up.
Gone really deep, and he's not given up, Eoin. He's going to carry on. That's going to hurt him. Oh, he's going to try and do another lap on these tyres. That's not going to work either. Surely not. His tyres are already way too hot. If he was thinking about bailing the lap, he should have gone into the pits. He had time to go out and do one more timed lap. Even if he finishes this lap, he's not going to make it around to do another time. So this is it for Nico. He's going to try and do his best lap on used tyres, which is a recipe for disaster. It's smooth into the first corner. Better actually out of the Dean hairpin on this time around. Let's see how he goes into Yentwood. Again, looks smooth. On the power, maybe a little bit later than he wanted, but again, the tyres just aren't there for him. And let's continue to watch him through Piff and onto Paff. You can see the rear of the car already trying to step out on him there, Eoin, as he tries to catch it. 1 minute left in the session.
Yeah, it's last minute right now. No,
it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, the tyres are bacon. Absolutely bacon.
And it does look like Isaac Price is going to be our pole sitter. But let's see, he is on. Is he on another lap? Has he managed to get out of pits to start another timed lap? He has. He's just finished that time lap. He didn't improve. So he's on an in lap now. So Isaac did actually try and set another pole position time, but could not improve. And it would be extremely difficult to do so because of how quick the original lap was. Here's Martin Capel, the number 99, currently in 31st place. Probably hasn't been able to do all that much practice for this round, so fair play for giving it a go. Let's see what he can manage. He's on his in lap actually, so that is it for him as well. As we have 12 seconds left on the timer. Greed's managed to get through for another lap. Steve Martin might just make it. In fact, I think he's going to be a little bit late, Eoin. Is he going to make it? No.
0.
Oh.
Time elapsed.
So close.
It's down to the judges' call here. It was bang on 0. Yeah, it's down to race control to judge that, as they are the ultimate controllers of our stopwatches. Yeah, I think.
Oh, 6-7 has been given the lap. He's been allowed.
He's valid.
Yeah. The race control have pandered to Stephen Martin. I definitely saw 0 on my timer when he went across the line, but race control have given him the extra lap. So yeah, Steve Martin will be the final car to come across the line. And let's watch him through the lap. He's currently P26, so. And we have 36 qualifiers, so we will have the nobody will lose out. Everybody that set a time will be able to join the race. Here comes Steve up to the final corner, and clips the first sausage, avoids the second, nice and smooth out onto the oval, and well, actually took quite a while to get up to full acceleration. But let's see if he can improve. 22nd place, 4 places gained, and that is everybody. So here are your qualifying results for round number 3. It's Isaac Price, the number 83 on pole position. Eoin Harmon, would you mind doing the honours?
Absolutely. So Mantas Markovicius P2. By the side of Rick Hardle, and then Carol Kondrick there, number 74, followed by Gabor Gjor, Nico Pantola, Imran Azar, then Bertas Bagdonas and Jeremiah Sinella in the top 10. Then we have Danny Orloff, Dan Bala, Silva Agostino, Patrick Hall, Carlos Motogitis, Nikitin, Petrov, Bissi, El Hanouni, and Grida complete the top 20. Jeff and Jacob, Stephen Martin, Ajin Isik, Maciek, Tiffenbacher, Kosnin, Roni Krompush, Yassine Badal, Martin Kapal, and Louis Jaguar complete the top 30, but we will have some grid penalties to discuss for the likes of Jaguar. And then Zdenek Sagash, Jibin Liu, Voce Demko, Joaquin Molina, Badaruk, and Peraza complete our 36 strong grid.
Yeah, and all the drivers are under the 107% mark, so should be allowed to start the races. And we have 2 races this evening. If you're watching GT4 Sprint Cup for the first time, this is how it works. We get 2 races, 20 minutes plus a lap each. There is going to be a driver's briefing before we get going for the start of race 1. So we will not be starting at 4 o'clock. That has already gone. But that's only because we had the split qualifying. So many drivers, we had to split the qualifying into 2 10-minute sessions. But yeah, after race 1, there will be a short break, a top 10 reverse grid, and another 20 minutes plus 1 lap to enjoy. Yeah, the first 2 rounds were absolutely fraught with action. We went to Blackwood, and that was a pretty spectacular race, as you can check out on the channel. The live stream recordings are all there. West Hill National for round 1 as well, a couple of weeks ago, and that today concludes the 3-round GT4 Sprint Cup competition for 2024. But don't worry, because there is more action coming from NDR in the coming weeks, and we really hope that you can sign up to the GT2 challenge, which is starting on February 4th. We're going to play you the trailer for that right now. Sign-ups are open for New Dimension Racing's GT2 Challenge, which kicks off on the 2nd of February. Here is a revised provisional calendar. That's different to the one that we broadcast last week. The championship will start at Aston North Reversed on Sunday, the 4th of February. Then we'll move to Rockingham International 2 weeks later, and we'll be back to Kyoto, a change. It was South City Long, it's been changed to Kyoto Ring GP Long, KY3. And instead of West Hill International, we're going to do it in the reverse direction for a change. So West Hill International Reverse will be the finale. Oh, and it's been 3 years, actually, since we ran the GT2 Challenge. It was 2021, the last season. Can you believe? Time flies.
Yeah, I know. And I was a part of the driving entrance. Yeah, memories there for sure. Both good and not so good.
Well, it was interesting. We had the what was it, the 6 hours to conclude the season, a non-championship endurance race. We're not having that this time. We're just going to have the 4 main events, but we really hope that you can sign up to it. The sign-ups are open on the Live for Speed forum. We've already had plenty of sign-ups, so it's going to be a fantastic series, a 4-round calendar, which will span February and March. So and also it's nice to have a little bit of a gap between the races as well. So the competition should be really, really high. The drivers will get more time to prepare. We've got a 4-round championship spanning 2 months, so it's going to be awesome. We hope that you can sign up and join us for that. Of course, all 4 rounds are going to be broadcast here on Sim Broadcasts, and thank you very much to New Dimension Racing for partnering with us for that once again. Owen, back to tonight's action. We are waiting for confirmation that the driver's briefing is complete, and we will get the grid going for the start of two races. This has been an absolutely brilliant championship in a car that we've only seen a couple of times since it was created. It has gone through a few more changes before tonight's action, just to make it a little bit more efficient on people's computers. So that's nice that that's been done between rounds 2 and 3, which should mean the drivers get a little bit more of a smoother experience in Live for Speed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people need to be made well aware of any potential changes so they can make the necessary adjustments and preparations. So yeah, it is good that the changes have been made before wheel has been turned in GT2, and yeah, I'm sure the drivers who all register to compete then with the finale, which I immediately noticed is St. Patrick's Day, so I pretty much have to be there in some capacity.
So yeah, the drivers are going to be starting their drivers briefing right about now, and we will be back with coverage in just a moment's time. Let's play some trailers, and we'll come back for some chatter in just a moment. Yeah, we just played the GT2 Challenge trailer again, so we might as well fill some time before the start of race number 1. The drivers are having their briefing right now, and yeah, we have a few moments to go before the start of the race. So probably a good idea to advertise the series pretty heavily. The next edition of competition from New Dimension Racing is going to be kicking off on Sunday, February 4th. All the details can be found on the Live for Speed forum in the New Dimension Racing Leagues and Events section. So please go ahead, head over to there. All of the information is there, including the rules and regulations for this series. A 4-round championship. We're going to Aston North Reversed, Rockingham International, Kyoto Ring GP Long, and West Hill International Reversed, which makes a little bit of a change. And it should be pretty fantastic. You have obviously driving experience as well. Just tell people what it's like.
Gosh, yeah. Thinking back on it now, qualifying. I was always quite nervous heading into that because, I probably should be better at qualifying, but be beating hammer and tongs for track position, and then obviously the run down to turn 1. I know Blackwood, I didn't have such a great race there. It was like I was towards the back, and I just had to find a gap and make sure I slowed down in time. Yeah, my best one was Fern Bay up until the end. I was so close to a fantastic result, and I rolled it. So, yeah, but it was great. The standard of driving was really, really good, and I was able to fit in and have it honest go. So, yeah, if anyone wants to give it their very first attempt, then yeah, it's highly recommended. One not to miss.
Yeah, you should definitely sign up. So there you go, from Owen's mouth to your ears, the reasons why you should sign up. But let's return to tonight's action. We are at the final round of the GT4 Sprint Cup by NDR. If you do want to keep up to date with what's going on the circuit, you can of course go over to your web browser and go to tracker.newdimensionracing.com. The details are at the top right of your screen there. The live timing for all of the New Dimension Racing events can be found there, and you should open that on a second screen if you have one, just to keep the live order and all of the sector times and all of the stats that you need for the racing this evening. So that's tracker.newdimensionracing.com for all of that information. Owen, the 20 minutes plus 1 lap format has worked brilliantly. Of course, this is a format that's used quite a lot in real life racing, but I think it's one of the first times that we've ever seen it actually used in Live for Speed. But to be honest, it's good. It's a quick format. The drivers seem to enjoy it. We enjoy it. The viewers seem to enjoy it. I think it's a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it does mean that with the safety cars, the fact that maybe people, if a safety car does come out, people will be tempted to go into the pits. But yeah, track position is so valuable in a timed format with the sprint, 20 minutes. So yeah, some tactics may have to go out the window because there's very little time to put it into effect. So yeah, that does make a huge difference.
Does indeed. Let's take a look then at the Drivers' Championship standings. As we were heading into this round, it's Isaac Price who leads the way with 206 points ahead of Joe Holmes, Gabor, Mantas Markovicius, Daniel Balla, Silver Agostino, Imran Azar, Martin Palm, Robert Nilsson, and Patrick Hall round out your top 10. Joe Holmes not in attendance today, so Isaac Price, if he gets 2 good results, will be our champion after this event. However, the battle for P2 is pretty much on. We've got Mantas and Gabor there, who both qualified very, very well, who can be shooting out for the P2 in the championship. We'll try our very best to keep track of those positions and get you the results as provisionally as we can at the end. But yeah, there's definitely some competition on for the second and third places in this one, Eoin. But yeah, it's a shame not to have Joe, but you know, with packed calendars, it's often difficult to organise yourself to be available all the time. The drivers are running up in the background, and while they do that, we will look at the teams championship standings. It's Race Green out of nowhere who currently lead ahead of Team Sidus. So yeah, they're very, very close. Only 2 points separating them, so that'll be one to watch out for as well during today's action. Born to Race, 12 points shy, and Yes Motorsports, the only other team with 200 points. We're readying up for the start of race 1, Eoin. So yeah, if you want to take it away for the start, that will be golden. And yeah, buckle up, ladies and gents. It's Rockingham. Turn 1 at the hairpin is always tricky for the drivers on cold tyres. Let's see how it goes. Let's hope it goes better than previous races we've seen this year.
Yeah, I'll have those 4 words ring into my ear. This could be chaos, but I certainly would not like that to happen tonight. So fingers crossed everyone gets through the opening few laps safely. And I have, I think Sean Lee is just trying to make me think of a little wager. So if anything would happen, perhaps the Race Green drivers together, for example, they could all end the lap the top 10. I'll give them the shout out as they're doing so well as a team in the championship.
Yeah, we have some lovely images again of the grid, courtesy of Chris McElroy, who puts together all of the cameras for the broadcasts here on Sim Broadcasts. So yeah, we get to look at our lovely grid as they get ready to set off for the formation lap. And there they go as they all pull away and head out onto the oval for the start of the race. And the drivers will line up. As far as I'm aware, the cars are going to be led. Are they going to be led down to the Gretton hairpin, and then we're going to be heading onto the oval? So we're not actually completing the lap here. We're going right at the Brook chicane, and then out onto the oval at the Gretton hairpin. That just gives the cars, the drivers, a little bit more time to line up in 2x2. I mean, that's an interesting change for today.
Yeah, race control will have made absolutely sure to make that 100% crystal clear, because if someone goes the wrong way, then their formation lap will be ruined, and it could ruin everyone's preparation for the race. So yeah, they've got to be fully up to speed about what is required here this evening.
So yeah, Stuart Baker, the safety car driver for New Dimension Racing Events, leading the cars round through Tarzan, and instead of turning left at the Brook chicane, they're going to continue up the course around to the right, and they're going to go slowly out of the Gretton hairpin, line up side by side, and then it's going to be a green flag at the line. No overtaking before the green flag is called, or before start finish. Before the green flag. Here they go up the School Straight and out onto the Steel Straight. That's not the Steel Straight, but yeah, here we go down to Gretton and then out onto the oval. Isaac Price doing some tyre warming there at the front, Eoin.
Yeah, he's making absolutely he's leaving nothing to doubt here. So as Stuart will get the formation, the 2x2 formation lined up. So yeah, they've got oval turn 4 and a little bit extra just to make sure everyone is 2x2. But leaving it a little bit late here. This is going to be close.
Yeah, well, the cars are trying to catch up at the back of the grid. We'll see if they can get into position. Safety car in has peeled in. Isaac Price comes around the bend here, and as we wait to see the green flag, there's lots of drivers who are still at the back, but we have a green flag and we are away as Isaac Price leads the field down towards turn number 1, down to the Dean hairpin. And look at the field there, everybody absolutely...
Yeah, Rick's gone for the lead here on the inside of Isaac. And they come watching for those potential side-by-side duels into the corner. A little hit there, and Patrick Hobby's okay. Well, it's very smooth here. But
yeah, that was
look at Rick.
Brilliant from the drivers as Rick Cardle goes around the outside and makes the move into Chapman Curve. And as we head through Piff, it's Rick Cardle who takes the lead of the first race ahead of Isaac Price, Mantas Malcuspicius and Gabor up to P4. With Carol Condrick there, a good start in P5. We've got an incident further back with Petrov and somebody else involved. We'll get updates on that on our Tiny Tower shortly, but a very clean start generally from the field at the beginning of race number 1. A few shufflers in the background, but largely at the front of the field, very clean, Owen.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Well done to everyone for keeping that very clean and good cooperation all around. So obviously the Rick Cardle, he outsmarted both Mantas and Isaac, getting the ideal entry into Dean Hairpin and made a count out of Chapman. So there's a spinner towards the back. Petrov there in the number 5. A little bit damaged, I'm afraid. He's towards the back. Dan Bala. Let's see what's the story with him here against Orloff on the inside line. He's going to use the so Orloff's actually on the outside, and Danny Orloff there, and now Bala has nowhere to go. A bit of argy-bargy there into Yentwood, but now that's going to be Igor Nikitin taking advantage as well.
Badal has timed out of the server, unfortunately. We've lost a car. We're down to 35 drivers from the 36 starters, but lots of movement going on. Patrick Hall also getting past El Hanouni there, I think. Yep. As we head through Gracelands on lap number 2 of this race, and it's Rick Cardle who leads still ahead of Isaac Price. Mantas in P3. We've got Magic on El Hanouni as well coming into Tarzan. There you go. The Born to Race car is El Hanouni, and Magic Klimzik there driving in the very fancy multicoloured black, purple and green livery. As they come down into Brook, Magic with a nose on the inside has to go to the sausage curve, and that's Roni Krompush just behind. But Rick Cardle is on brilliant form here, Owen.
Yeah, outstanding work here on the early goings for Rick, but we'll check out more battles as Dan Bala versus Nikitin has swapped around once, and maybe it'll return to the original form, but Nikitin has to cut inside and back out again out of Dean to make that count. But as a matter of fact, no, he's not able to. So Daniel Bala, after a difficult lap last time, he has got 1 position back.
Yeah, brilliant start to this race. Very clean. I want to keep stressing that because it's an unusual thing to say at Rockingham these days. But nice to see. We do still have 1 more race to go, so hopefully they can make that 2 out of 2. As Rick Cardle there from the overhead, helicopter shot there, leading. It's so nice to see a very close top to the field. The top 4 there on your screens, super close together. We head through the Brook chicane out onto the oval for the 3rd time.
Yeah, so is the potential for Mantas to perhaps use his consistency to count later on into this sprint. The fact that he's still well in touch here with Price should mean he could potentially get in some battles at the very end of the race. But yeah, lots of strong contenders in the early goings. Great big battle here in the mid-pack. El Nouni, Macic, Bissy and Krompush 2x2 again. El Hanouni will have the inside on Macic. Let's see. Yeah, that should be cooperation now. Yeah, good job there. Klimchik there, Macic Klimchik. And Cyril Bissy still keeping it strong.
Cars off at the hairpin. We've got Badaruk with some front left damage. and some other cars as well. We've got Lou having some trouble there, and some movers and shakers further up as well, as we've got cars all over each other into Tarzan. Augustin Ipsal currently on the cameras, and Azar and Nico Pantola are also involved in this fight. Nico Pantola on the closest to the camera in the Sidus livery is going to be edged out there by Imran Azar, who comes onto the oval. Ooh, they're still pushing each other, and that's really hurts Nico Pantola. That means that Ipsal gets through. Oh, and we didn't see there was another car there.
Yeah, that was the other car. Jeremiah Zanella has made a bit of contact with Nico.
I'm not sure that's true, Owen. I think Nico moved over and just didn't realise Jeremias was there. That's very unusual.
Yeah, something like that. Sorry, pardon me there.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's all fair. Oh no, Ipsale has made contact there. He's gone off the track. I think it was Azar. I think he was involved, but yeah, that was a very unfortunate one there. So now the gloves are off. The drivers are now getting stuck into a lot of battles, and yeah, these high stress situations are gonna bring either doubles or quits.
I like that. Yeah, as we got Ipsal going around the outside, one of the Born to Race drivers there onto this short run to Gracelands. But yeah, that was pretty frantic. Nico Pantola, as far as I can tell, he just didn't see that Jeremiah Sinella was to his left, moved over, there was contact, and he spins out into the wall. South American Jeremiah Sinella with, when you make contact with a car from a very long way away geographically, sometimes you can have some spills. So that's probably what's happened there. But yeah, I'm sure Nico will be pretty furious with whatever happened there. Zipsal out onto the oval once again, as Badaruk is now leaving the pit lane in front. Oh, sorry. Badaruk is leaving the pit lane with the leaders. He lets them all through nicely. But yeah, super close.
Yeah, Kirill Kondrik's the best Suzuki racing driver here, currently in 5th. His teammates are all keeping it really encouraging there, with Orlov and Nikitin 9th and 11th. So it's a really impressive showing from these Russian contingents. And the fact that Kondrik and Gjord are not at all too far away from each other, probably about a second in it. But yeah, these top 3 are the class of the field so far. But Rick Cardle, ever since gaining that lead from Paul Sitter Price, he has not let it go.
Yeah, but Rick Cardle's in trouble. He's got his front right tyres are screaming. He has the worst tyres relative to the cars behind him, probably because of the pressure of leading the race. He needs to be really careful out onto the oval here, not to put too much energy through the front right. He's had a really nice exit there, a much better exit than Isaac and Smarkovicius behind. We'll go to the wide angle because these cars are still very close as we head on to lap 7, as the timer continues to tick down in this first race. 20 minutes plus a lap is what was billed, and well, we're getting a very nice fight at the bottom, as at the top, sorry, as Isaac Price very late on the brakes.
Yeah, thankfully not too late, but it may give Rick 1 or 2 seconds extra that he might not have had otherwise. Let's check out battle in Cyril Bissey and Nico Patolo. Oh, certainly the teeth were gritted there. That could have gone spectacularly wrong, but Cyril Bissey hangs on. Then we have Stefan Tiffenbacher as well for Born to Race, keeping nice and tight here to this ongoing contest. This will be for the 17th or thereabouts, that kind of range.
We've got Zdenek Sagash and Isic side by side through Chapman as we head through into Piff. They're still side by side. Zdenek in the blue livery and manages to keep the lead for now, as Rick Cardle sets the fastest lap of the race. So I ruled him out with his tyres earlier, Owen, but he's just gone purple of everybody. Isaac is closer now to Smarkovicius than he is to Cardle, as we head down into Dean once again. Isaac outbrakes himself a little bit there, and this is starting to get spicy for P2 then.
Yeah, if Smarkovicius notices that Price and his entry into Dean Hairpin is maybe a key weakness in his lap times at the minute, then he could potentially go for a move sooner rather than later. Rick will certainly hope for that, because just give him more time to pull away. Penalty completed for Badgeruk at the back of the grid there, so he's going to be one lap down of anybody. So that's a long way back for him. Jibin Liu, as a matter of fact, has overtaken him for blue flag orders, so that's a long way back for Adam.
Yeah, the cars file their way through the Brook chicane yet again out onto the oval, and it's a bad exit from Mantas. That was a really wobbly exit, and he's lost a lot of time to Isaac Price there. So Isaac will be looking in his rearview mirrors. He'll see that mistake and will be breathing a sigh of relief. We've got a fight on into Brook again with Nika Patola and Bisset actually going side by side, to the point that I feel like Tiefenbacher might fancy a go here. If he plays his cards right, he can choose either of the slipstreams he wants, Owen, here.
Yeah, he certainly can. Pantola will have the apron to his advantage, but Bissy maybe can take it easy on the steering, make sure he doesn't understeer too badly. But now he seems like Tiefenbacher is going to get him as well. He didn't find a comfortable zone to fill in, so Cyril Bissy running independently here has he's actually fought his way back there through Yentwood, hanging on for dear life there. So yeah, that tactic there for Stefan did not pay off. I thought it was a slam dunk, but no, Bissy had a plan up his sleeve. I know he's a bit loose there now, and that's an overtake straight away for Tiefenbacher there just before Gracelands, and there's another pack swarming in as well.
Yeah, lots of packs. That's something we saw a lot of last time out. Just action from start to finish, cars bunching up behind other cars and creating these packs of intense racing all throughout the grid. The drivers at the front are separated by a second down to P3, but we've got cars much closer than that further down the order, and more cars involved as well, as Cyril Bissay gets a really nice exit out of the final corner, and Tiefenbacher is a sitting duck here. Bissy goes to the inside, and he's going to get through. He's Tiefenbacher forced out wide as they all head down to Dean for the 10th time of asking, with 7 minutes left to go. And Bissay still on the inside, Tiefenbacher on the outside. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. He'll have the inside for Yentwood. Still has the inside and does go through. So good battle from P20 downwards here.
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll carry on for a while at least. Good field spread at the moment. Maybe there is a pack of 3 here. There's Maciek in between Al Hanouni and Krompush for 15th position. So yeah, Al Hanouni has it at the moment, so he must have found some time. But yeah, Maciek, Klimchik still keeping him very close, and the potential for a battle out of the oval will begin in earnest. But yeah, the lead battle carries on.
Oh yeah, it's so intense at the front. The top 3 are starting to drop. Gabor, who is trying his very best to try and get up to those guys, but in P14 we've got a fight on between Ipsal and Patrick Hall. Patrick Hall in the green, driving for race green, and Augustin Ipsal here does in fact move through. He moves up to P13, taking that place away from Patrick. We've got a spin or a half spin from Jeff and Jacob out of the final chicane, and slow to build up the pace across start finish, and it's getting super tight at the front. Owen, Mantas is pressuring Isaac. Isaac is starting to pressure Rick Cardle again as they head down to Brook.
That is indeed the case. There's still very little to separate the 3 of them. Lap times roughly about the same, to a 100th of a second really in the second split. Now that they cross the line, will it stay the same? Mantas, Smakvicius there with the fastest lap of the 3. But yeah, it's minimal, absolutely minimal between them. So it comes down to the skill or the pressure. Which one will make that factor play? side by side through oval turn 1. It's Imran Azar and Daniil Orlov.
Yeah, and it looks like Azar has got through.
That is a pass, yeah.
Up to P7. Also fights with Martin Kapal, Magic, Roni, and El Hanouni into the Dean hairpin. And that's Nico Pantola, who is trying to get his way back up the order in the background of that shot as well. Roni side by side with Martin Kapal. Martin Kapal on the outside into Chapman. And Roni will give him the room. And Martin Kapal is through.
Yeah, it was a bad entry there for Krompush into Dean. He outbraked himself. He was able to catch it and turn the car back around, but yeah, thankfully he didn't hit El Hanouni in the background like that. So these groups of drivers in the bottom half of the top 20, they're still carrying on. But yeah, the fastest lap there just changed hands this second. Mantas Markovicius at 1:18.39.
Absolutely epic driving from these top three. Look at the gap they've got over Gabor at the moment, fighting one another psychologically. That's all this is. There's no moves going on. These guys are just making each other watch their mirrors. Ricardo is going to be sweating a lot to try and keep ahead of these two. And 3 different teams represented. Isaac is an independent, Born to Race, and Sidus, our top 3. This is really nice to see, because we haven't seen kind of a group of elite drivers in Live for Speed so close paced in many series in recent years, and it's nice to see that the elite group is growing in Live for Speed again.
Yeah, it is brilliant to have the reliable names that we know are of the highest caliber that the LFS universe has to offer. So yeah, it's great to have them all in the same equal car, and we'll find who's the best of the best in about 3 minutes from now.
Yeah, a reminder that Gabor is also streaming his perspective. You can see on the bottom right of your screens his Twitch username. If you want to go and check it out, please go to his channel as well and keep an eye on how he is doing from his very own perspective. As we've got Nico Pantola, who is moving his way back through the field, currently P18, but he's side by side with Martin Kapal, where he was, but Martin just has the nose into Brook as they go past the pit entry. Weird place for a pit entry. It's in the middle of a chicane, but the drivers should not be using that today. There's no need to use the pit lane during the races. We have 2 20-minute sprint races plus a lap, and we have 2 minutes 20 remaining in this one before we get the call of how many laps we will have total. The drivers are currently on lap 14, and Mantas Markovicius is piling a huge amount of pressure on Isaac Price at the moment through Gracelands, trying to find any vulnerability, any weakness in Isaac's driving style at the moment.
Yeah, he's just trying to find anything. Jaguar versus Bagdonas, 26th and 27th. Louis Jaguar still hanging on in there. Bertas Bagdonas. Oh, he's lost it. Got too close to the grass, and the back end was off kilter there. So well done to Louis there. He held on to his position cleanly and forced Bagdonas into a mistake, and he pushes on to see if there is any way to catching Costin Racing's eponymous tattoo.
Nico Pantola went for the move on the inside on Martin Kapal, but it's not worked out. Martin has he's gone over the curb, and that's going to force him wide. So Nico has managed to make the place, but can he keep it on the oval? Yes, it looks like he will. Rony Krompush is also there in the background, but Nico Pantola makes another place up to P17 then. And we have 1 minute left on the counter. So I think Race Control are going to call the number of laps pretty soon. Rick Cardle is currently coming into Gracelands. I think it's safe to assume he will be across start finish before the timer hits 0. So we should have a 17 lap race here. We're currently on lap 15. So we will get that final call from Race Control very, very shortly. But yeah, Rick Cardle will make it across start finish before the timer hits 0. Which means we will have another lap after this one.
Yeah, it's important to note, just ahead of the leaders, Ajin Isic and Miguel Peraza's battle for 33rd position. is ongoing, but they'll be forced aside for the blue flags very, very quickly. So yeah, with race control needing to decide if this is the second to last lap or the last lap. So yeah, they're going to hopefully cooperate here.
Well, we hope so. This may affect the lead. The driver ahead not sure of where to go, but does in the end let all the 3 cars through. That was a little bit uncomfortable for Rick Carl. You never want to see a car weaving from side to side ahead of you. There's one more back marker that does need to yield to Rick Cardle and is not yielding. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. You can't just disappear. But there were opportunities definitely before then to let the leaders through. But luckily, Rick Cardle is through, so too is Isaac Price, and then Mantas has made it through as well. Oh.
Yeah, I suppose the relief on everyone's shoulders there, they got through it safely. But no advantage was gained or lost there, really. So that will mean Rick Cardle can still hang on to this lead. He's never let it go since he took it. And now one more lapped car, Vocha Demko, for SGR as well. So all the SGR guys getting lapped. Race control says final lap is now, so one more to go.
1 lap to go. We're watching the number 47 Demko, who could have an impact on the race here. Needs to let the leaders through. Pulls wide, lets one through. He's got Isaac on his left now. Needs to move out of the way, stay on the right hand side, and let the leaders do their thing. A little bit uncomfortable there on Mantas, but yeah, Mantas not happy with that. He's on the horn, showing his disapproval at being forced the long way round, and that's fair enough. You've got to let the leaders through, especially on the final lap when it's this close. But anyway, Rick Cardle has the gap he needs. We've got battles going on further down. Nico Matola still trying to make his way up, trying to get any positions he can at the final breath here, and he does get past Magic into Dean Hairpin. But it's Rick Cardle now who exits Tarzan for the final time in race number 1 with Isaac Price all over the back of him. The gap is probably too big unless Rick Cardle makes a mistake at the chicane. And take him across the line for us.
Yeah, watching the exit out of this final corner. He's got to be careful on the throttle. Now he can boot it. He's going to cross the line, and we have a new winner in GT4 Sprint Cup. It is none other than Sidus Rick Cardle. Congratulations in order.
Absolutely brilliant drive from Rick Cardle there. Super driving. And yeah, that was really difficult. We had to hold off Isaac Price for the entire race, 17 laps. And that is a very tricky thing to do for sure. So very nice driving there from Rick Cardle, and yeah, in the end, very well deserved victory. We've got lots and lots of cars coming across the line to finish this one, but it was a brilliant opening race. There goes Peraza, start finish, and we've got a car out of fuel. Magic's out of fuel. Oh, that's such a shame. He was making such a good progress up the grid, but in the end finishing in P22, running out of fuel on the final lap. Well, that is unfortunate. And Rick Cardle leads the field round back to the pit lane to conclude race number 1. Yeah, as you said, Owen, a new winner in GT4 Sprint Cup for 2024 makes it 3 winners that we've had. But who is going to win the final race of the season? The top 3 will go onto the grid, and the rest of the field will go into the pit lane. Gabor, the first car into the pit lane, as the drivers make their way up to start finish for the podium photo.
And would you believe it? 3 equal fastest laps from the 3 podium sitters, 1:18.33 seconds, all shared between them. They're absolutely unbelievable.
That's amazing, isn't it? All 3 of them sharing the exact same fastest lap. But that is all of the finishes for the first race, all 34 of them. 2 retirements in the end, but an absolutely fantastic race. There on your screens you can see Rick Cardle in the middle, Isaac Price to his left, and Mantas Malkovicius taking P3 in the end. These 3, you couldn't split them, but in the end the timer never lies. And it was Rick Cardle who won in 24 minutes and 51 seconds ahead of Isaac Price and Mantas Malkovicius. Gabor, in the end, finishing in P4. Let's see what he can manage in race 2. Karel Kondrik Imran Azar, Daniel Balla, and Silva Agostino, with Daniel Orlov and Nikitin your top 10. Those 10 drivers, as long as the order remains that way, Eoin, will be reversed for race 2.
Yeah, that is really, really exciting there. ISSC Racing 1-2 on reverse grid if the results are finalised. And that will be very exciting to see how they get on. Perhaps they'll team up for a bit and see if there's a way to thwart the podium sitters today. But yeah, the rest of the results flying by for you now. Disappointment for Maciek Klimczyk. He lost 6 positions, having run out of fuel in the last lap. And then Yassine Badal didn't make it very far at all before his disconnection occurred. So he has to try again in race 2 and see if picks up for him. But yeah, only the handful of drivers got lapped. The top 30 all on the lead lap. That's pretty good.
Yeah, very high caliber of driving in race 1. Hopefully that follows through into the second race. Well, that's race 1 in the books. We have completed 5 of the 6 races of the 2024 season of GT4 Sprint Cup. We're going to have a short break now before the start of race number 2. The drivers will have a refresher. We'll have a refresher as well, and get ready for the final race of the championship. So yeah, thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching tonight's coverage of the GT4 Sprint Cup by New Dimension Racing. New Dimension Racing with a long history of great events in Live for Speed, and they also support a number of other teams and series organisers to host competitions in the Live for Speed simulator. But yeah, it's nice to have NDR hosting their own championships yet again. And on that note, we will flash up the advertisement for the next championship that New Dimension Racing will be organising, and that's the GT2 Challenge, which kicks off on February 4th with a 4-round calendar that you should absolutely sign up for. It's going to kick off on Sunday, February 4th at 3:30 for qualifying, and that will be at Aston North Reversed in the GT2 class in LFS, the FXR, the FZR, and the XRR, with the GT2 restrictions applied. So back to a blast from the past. The last time this series ran was in 2021. Eoin was there as one of the drivers and joined us. I think you joined us in the commentary booth for the 6 hour, if I'm not mistaken. Eoin?
Yeah, I drove and commentated as a double booking there. So yeah, it was great fun. I was the one time I was ever put into a team principal role because I had to recruit some teammates to join myself and Stephen Martin, and I got I got Adam Brown, and I got Zdravko as well. Absolutely top tier signings for us. So yeah, they did an amazing job, and I'm glad I didn't wreck it on them.
Yeah, it was a great event, and I hope we can do another endurance. No endurance is part of this year's GT2 Challenge, but we'll leave that till later. It's going to be a series spanning 2 months, gaps of 2 weeks, gaps of a week between each round. So a race every single 2 weeks through February and March. We hope you can join us for it. This is a slightly tweaked calendar to what was advertised last week. We've switched South City Long for Kyoto GP Long for round 3, and West Hill International we've replaced with West Hill International Reversed for round 4. This is still provisional. It may change, but the first 2 races I'm pretty sure are going to remain exactly as they are. Aston North Reversed. We've got drivers who are already practicing for that. So please go ahead and sign up. That kicks off next weekend. That is next weekend. It's not long until the first round. So if you haven't signed up and you haven't started your practice, then now is absolutely the time to do that. Race Control in the background is probably still working through their paperwork, Eoin, as we wait to see what the final grid order is going to be for the second race, which should be kicking off in about 6 or so minutes time. We normally try to keep race 2 running to time so we don't drag on. But that will be another 20 minutes plus 1 lap race, and yeah, we hope you will stick around for it. Welcome back. We are on the final round of GT4 Sprint Cup by New Dimension Racing at Rockingham ISSC. The race has been ended and we are having a grid put together for the start of race number 2. 20 minutes plus 1 lap around the 3.1 kilometre, 1.9 mile Rockingham ISSC configuration in Live for Speed. This is the layout that they used to use for the touring cars, or did they? In fact, I think they used International for some of the events, with the addition of the was it the Kirby hairpin down at the bottom, but they've moved to this configuration in the later years. And it's great to have it in Live for Speed. Of course, the circuit is now defunct as a racetrack. It's only used for some certain promotional events occasionally. It's a crying shame, but it's lovely to have it available in Live for Speed, Eoin.
Yeah, they certainly picked a good choice in terms of preserving history. Rockingham will be immortalised in the game for hopefully many more decades to come. It'll be obviously sad that the real life events will not be making a comeback, but yeah, it is certainly one that will be. Yeah, it's one that you miss, but it's great to have it in the game that we can try out in all its many configurations.
Yes, we're going to see it again in GT2 Challenge, Rockingham International. So a slightly tweaked version of this, as the drivers are having their orders set in the background. It doesn't look like the gridding has actually started yet, so race control still talking amongst themselves, working out what exactly is going to happen. We're not aware of any penalties, are we? Have we had any penalty confirmations come through, Eoin?
No penalties so far. It was just race 1. A few drivers already had penalties coming into the start of the event, so yeah, they were late to register, I think it was. So I didn't see any foul play that's been flagged by the stewards here in race control. So yeah, I think it's going to be a perfectly prepared grid as we expect it to be.
Yeah, no, doesn't look like we've got any penalties at present, but we'll bring those to you if we do hear of any. So it should be as we said before, although it doesn't look as though we're having the grid hasn't been set yet, as far as I'm aware. We do have the safety car and course car on the grid, but we do still have the order that we had at the end of the first race. So we will bring you that as soon as we know what's happening. But yeah, in the meantime, please stay with us as we bring the season to a close. Yeah, the drivers at the top of the grid are now being shuffled around, so we are going to get that top 10 reversed. And the top 10 reversed will look thus. We will have the top 10 on this table reversed. So it will be Nikitin and Orlov, the teammates, who will start on the front row, Eoin, alongside Bala and Agostino, with Kondrik and Azar, Smarkovicius and Gabor, Cardle and Isaac Price on row 5. Rick Cardle will start in P10 and have to work his way back through the grid. Unofficially, Eoin, who do you think is going to win race 2?
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I suppose Rick's courage, the fact that he started third and he won it, he has that little bit of experience. But honestly, I think didn't see the best of Mantas, but I'll put my backings on Smarkovicius here.
Smarkovicius, interesting. Well, if Gabor had finished a little bit further down, I think his chances of winning would be higher. But yeah, with Smarkovicius starting on the same row as him, I don't think Gabor. Gabor's chances are kind of against him really here. Everybody else further down, the finishing times were quite high. Azar there, 16 seconds off the lead in the end. Kondrik pretty well set if he can get a good start. But yeah, I think it's hard to bet against one of our top 3 not taking the win again in this race. But we will see what happens in the final moments of the GT4 Sprint Cup here on Sim Broadcasts. We do have a grid, I'm pleased to say, and I think the driver's going to be ready up very, very soon, Eoin, for the start of race 2. I can't wait to bring this series to a close with a bang.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous success, and it has made sure the next step up to GT2 should also be kept to a high quality, with lots of drivers willing to sign up and have a go. So yeah, it's been probably one of our best ever months here on Sim Broadcasts this January 2024. Had a lot of excitement, a lot of nonsense too, in a good way, of course. So yeah, it's been a brilliant one for us, and let's keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. Let's bring this series to an end with style. It's definitely given us plenty of entertainment, and it'll be nice to have a clean start yet again. Chris in our ears said that that's the cleanest Dean hairpin he'd ever seen in race one. So hopefully we get an even cleaner start to the next race. The drivers did very, very well, though, and I have to say, they're very clean.
Yeah, it was outstanding. Everyone did their due diligence, and I'm really, really pleased to see that. Now the trick is to do it all again with the drivers that on qualifying pace are shuffled down to 8th, 9th and 10th. Could be a little bit more difficult, but I have my faith that they'll be able to repeat the trick and make sure this race goes green to the finish.
Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's looking good. The drivers have definitely mastered the N400S GT4, which we should give a little bit more attention to. This mod by Alexander124 Russ went through some tweaks this week to make it a little bit more optimized, and that certainly had a big impact on the drivers' enjoyment of this car and this series. And yeah, some good work by the LFS developers to make that possible as well. So yeah, it's nice to see that work is going on between rounds to make this better for everybody. It's really, really nice to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make sure communication it's clear and concise, that everybody knows what's going on. So yeah, it is good to have that ability to make sure the communication channels are nice and accessible for everybody.
Indeed, and yeah, it looks fantastic. I think the look of this car definitely grew on me throughout the series. It's been fantastically well put together. Alexander124 Russ, I believe I heard this somewhere. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think he does car designs for real. I'm not sure. I think someone mentioned that. I think that's true. So yeah, very, very talented. The drivers are readying up in the background. Get excited, because we're going to be going green in around 2 minutes' time. The drivers will do another outlap. We'll go to the Gretton hairpin. They'll line up side by side and drive 2 corners of the oval before hearing a green flag from race control, whereupon we will go racing for 20 minutes and a lap around Rockingham ISSC once again, and for the final time in 2024. Let's do it, Eoin. Take it away for the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're looking forward to the pit lane formation as well. Everyone in the horizontal line, with Paul Sitter, Igor Nikitin there in the red. He'll be able to follow Stuart Baker's safety car and lead everyone away. The grid is looking 36 strong again, so that's great to see. Everyone who may have, the guy I'm looking at, Yassine Badal there in last place, he missed out on a proper go, but he gets to come back and try again, so that's great to see. And maybe 1 or 2 drivers have had a disconnection problem there, but they're leading away now with the teammates for Sasiski Racing. They're getting to follow the safety car along, so yeah, everyone's now out and ready to follow the formation lap.
Yeah, so Nikitin will lead the drivers around the circuit. This, I believe, will be the first time that he has been asked to do that. So lots of pressure on his shoulders to get it right. It's always fun seeing the less experienced drivers get a go at this, Owen, because it's a unique experience, really. Silver Agostino leaving quite a big gap to the cars behind and almost losing it on the formation lap. They've got to be careful. They don't want to be having any of that. But yeah, Nikitin following the pace car, Stuart Baker quite closely then. Yeah, as we head our way around Gracelands for the formation lap, bring up some timing on the screen, ready for the race start. As Nikitin needs to be a little bit more careful going onto the grass while you're leading the cars around. Probably not the best way to do it, as the cars head through Tarzan and will begin now to line up in formation, Owen.
Yeah, the slippery rear traction is being probably used to a benefit for the drivers with the tire warming required. But yeah, if you overdo it, as we nearly saw for Silva Agostino, then yeah, it can end in tears. But yeah, now we'll see if everyone can now catch up and get into the 2x2 order. It's going to be another late job here. It could be a little bit of a distraction. But yeah, everyone has the final probably half a mile before the start finish is in front of them. So let's see now. Everyone should be grouping up together with their grid row partner.
Yeah, they need to hurry up about it because we're running out of road, but you can see that the drivers are roughly getting into order. The more experienced drivers at the back of the top 10 have already got it sorted out, but as Nikitin comes to the line, the pace car, Stuart Baker, pulls away, and the cars get ready to do the start once again. And Eoin, take it away for the final time in GT4 Sprint Cup.
Green flag.
Let's
green
go.
flag.
It's a very good, tidy lineup, and we're away. Let's see how Imran Azar looks here. This could be a strong start from 5th place. He could go all the way to 3rd, maybe 2nd. He's looking very, very strong here, Pete. Into Dean Hairpin we go.
Into the Dean Hairpin we go. There's a lot of cars side by side. It's an uncomfortable first corner, but so far so good.
Oh, no!
We've got cars over.
Flying in the
Sider's
air.
car there flying
Pantola.
off. It's Pantola, no. Oh my goodness. So yeah, there was... well, we hope that the start
Safety car deployed.
Steve Martin also out. Safety car is deployed by race control. And Nico Pantola, it's a disastrous start. He was absolutely sent flying by some cars further round. But it's Azar who takes the lead of the race. He will lead around, be picked up by the safety car. And let's see what our top 10 looks like. We've got Azar, we've got Orlov, we've got Schmalker Vicious up to P3, Eoin.
Man, that's I'm going for my pick for the race to win here, but let's be real here. Imran Azar, that's one of the best starts you could imagine here around Rockingham. From 5th place to take the lead by the official 2nd corner of the track, that is extraordinary.
Yeah, there were 34 individual stories into turn 1 there, but from our cameras it looked like we had 4 wide, 5 wide, everyone into Dean at the same time, and unfortunately for Nico Pantola it just didn't work out. Just too many cars through a pinch point, and he was sent flying over into a catch fence. Someone massively outbraked themselves into him. We'll not be able to bring you a replay of it, unfortunately, but we'll try and find out what happened in more detail. But either way, it does end up with Nico Pantola being left with his tail between his legs down at the Dean Hairpin. Anyway, back to the racing action. We've got a couple of cars in the pit lane. We've got Greed and Kapal in the pit lane, as well as Pereza, who's trying to get back up to speed out on circuit. But it's Imran Azar then who will lead the cars around for
safety car in this lap
for the restart. Jonathan Provost there, race control, letting us know that the safety car will be in this lap.
Yeah, very brief safety car period, it has to be said. Yeah, maybe Azar's advantage, having been 5th on the grid, he got a lot of slipstream, he was able to poke himself on the apron. That could be his disadvantage now, because all these drivers behind will get a strong run at him, and they'll probably take that excitement away from him if he doesn't get a good launch. But yeah, Dan Bala as well for Race Green in P5 as well. That'll be encouraging signs for him if he can pair up with one of the ISSC racing drivers, for example, maybe get a slipstream off them, or his teammate. Oh, he's gone for the launch, so he's even caught me out. So here's his opportunity to go for the win here. We're 60 minutes 40 seconds on the clock, so yeah, plenty of racing still to do, and yeah, he has done brilliantly. So if anything, Mantas Valkovicius versus Daniel Orlov side by side, and Orlov has to perhaps use the corner exit to his advantage before Yentwood, or maybe too little too late here.
Well, that was a brave move around the outside. Orlov gave him just enough room. I think there was a little bit of contact, but Smalkovicius then up to P2 already, as we've got movers going on further down. It's Isaac Price has got a decent start. He's managed to get ahead of Patrick Hall at the restart, Agostino at the restart. But Gabor and Rick Cardle are trapped in behind. So Rick Cardle is still in P9, has been able to just make one position off the restart.
Yeah, disappointed with that, but maybe his teammate Gior will notice what's going on and maybe just give him a little bit of racing room with Silva Agostino in the way. So there we go. Clean move for Rick, and he takes P8 now. So yeah, a lot of work to do here for race 1's winning driver. But now let's see, Smalkovicius, he's gained 2/10 on Azar, but that is very impressive to have lapped just 2/10 slower than the new fastest lap of the race.
Here comes Rick Cardle. He's going to go to the inside on Agostino. He's going to try and get another place made as he goes into Dean Hairpin, and that looks like a great move. Agostino leaves him plenty of space, and Gabor might be even able to follow through as well. We've got a battle up front. Dan Balla and Isaac Price and Nikitin. Oh, and contact.
Oh no, sliding off the racing line. It's Nikitin there, the pole sitter for the day, and now it's opportunism. Brilliantly done there by Rick Cardle. So now he can catch up. It's Rick just trying to defend. Yeah, so yeah, no, it's Rick ahead. Sorry, yeah, it's the timing. It should correct itself now. So yeah, great optimism from Rick. Now Isaac Price has to overtake Igor for this position, and Gabor has all the interest imaginable door to door. Yeah, it's okay. It's not a netcode issue or anything like that. Just a little bit of argy-bargy.
Yeah, Nikitin yielding in the end.
Two wheels for Gabor.
Guys through. But as you said, opportunistic for Rick Cardle there to make a whole bunch of places from P9 up to P5 in one lap. Pretty good going.
This is a crazy train now. Al-Hanouni and Kondrik are together, so the other ISSC racing driver, he's going to miss out there. Al-Hanouni is through. Agostino trying to hang on to his position here in the top 10. It's on the balance now. He's used a big block, puts Al-Hanouni off. Kondrik gets the place back, and now Patrick Hall is in the zone. Let's see if he can grab a position or two. Just so much going on. Ipsale, he's done very well this lap, and Carlos Matagitis for Last Lap Motorsports there as well. So a lot going on in the battles on the outside of the top 10. And indeed, race leader Imran Azar just trying to defend as best he can.
Ipsal very late on the brakes into Tarzan there, made contact with the back of Al-Hanouni. Patrick Hall drops back a little bit more, but Smalkovicius now is tucked in behind Imran Azar. So Mantas with a slipstream here down into turn 1. Could this be the race, the move for the race, Owen? The gap behind Mantas is absolutely massive back to Orlov, almost 4 seconds. He moves to the inside into Dean. Azar's not going to be able to put up much of a fight, goes wide to try and get a counter, but Mantas is so far ahead already and moves up into the lead of the race at Dean Hairpin.
Ayub El-Hanouni versus Agustin Ipsale again. Patrick Hall could make it 2.5 wide. Just got to be careful. Contact. Thankfully the car stays in a straight line after a slipstream, but Patrick Hall gets a hit in the back.
Yeah,
that was number 5, I think it was. Paolo Petrov. Yeah,
Petrov into the back of Patrick Hall, pushing him off. That will go to the stewards for sure. There was too much bunching up. There's nothing he could do. He was already on low traction. He was forced wide, and everybody bundled into the back of him. But Ayub, a little bit of a passenger. Patrick definitely didn't deserve that. As we head into the latter parts of the lap, and it's a big send by the last lap motorsport driver, Carlos Motagoutis, really late on the brakes. Lucky not to make contact with the car ahead of Ayub there, but drops back down to fight with Petrov once again.
Petrov does miss his turn in. He's got to mind himself. A little bit loose there, I'm afraid. He didn't give he couldn't have given the gap anyway, so he's probably happy that it didn't get any worse than that. So Matagitis could only watch and watch and make sure he didn't crash into the back. Isaac Price has hit the wall at Dean.
Oh,
The tire barrier at Dean. He's
Well
messed it up
spotted.
entirely.
Yeah, he's gone back into this fight with Jeremiah Sanella and who else is in there? Carol Condrick as well, and Nikitin. So Isaac Price with an error. Was he pushed or did he make an error? Did you see the full incident?
I only saw the fallout, I'm afraid. He was in my background looking at the race leader, Smakavicius. He was just stalled in the background, but his championship, it's not signed. Well, it's signed, but it's not sealed, so he just needs to get going and make the last few points that he needs secure. So he is, in fact, the GT4 Sprint Cup champion for 2024. He's almost there. Thankfully, it's not all over yet.
It was an error on his own. Chris has reviewed the replay. He just outbraked himself into turn one. He wasn't pushed. It was his own doing, unfortunately. And Agostino now side by side with Condrick and gets the move made. We've got Rick Cardle going for a move on Dan Balla further forward. Oh, and Rick forced to the apron. Dan wanted that low line, but Rick was already there. And as they head into Dean, it's advantage to Rick Cardle, who will show Dan Balla the outside of the track. And Rick can set his sights firmly on the back of Daniel Orlov. But yeah, now the gap between Smarkovicius and Orlov is almost 5 seconds. The gap's gone up by another second in the last few laps. So, Owen, your pick for the win in race 2 has gold medal all over it.
Yeah, apparently so, but I won't jinx it just yet. So he just got to maintain his form from race 1, and he will, in fact, get it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see if anything does occur. As we saw with Isaac Price, it's impossible to be spot on all day long unless you're in the form of your life. So yeah, there's nothing to take for granted just yet. Jibin Liu and Paolo Petrov is now in the gravel.
Yeah, it's deep enough in the gravel trap that we might not need a safety car. It might be who's going the wrong way?
Jibin Liu is trying to sympathise. I don't know.
But coming in front of other cars.
That's a bit. Yeah, this is dangerous. In fact, if he's doing a U-turn on a live circuit, he's feeling the guilt. But yeah, it's not his job to clean up the trapped cars.
It just risks getting 2 cars stuck in the gravel, and he's got to be careful how he rejoins here as the rescue cars are trying to get. We've got a safety car. What was Lou doing?
Yeah, Sagita Sagas in the rescue car has come along, and that neutralizes the race completely. And yeah, now Jibin Liu doing another sort of half spin. This could be a big talking point in the race control room.
Yeah, but this is going to bunch up the front of the race. So Jibin Liu was trying to do the right thing to help out a driver, but in doing so has caused a safety car and completely changed the face of the race. So I don't, that he's going to learn from this for sure. It's going to be a large penalty for sure for that.
Yeah, Race Control New Dimension Racing take their mispractice from drivers very seriously. So if they do find he's breached a rule book statute, then yeah, he's in big trouble.
Rescuing the cars is the job of the rescue cars. It's not the job of the other drivers. It's common sense, really. But that means that the front of the race is going to get bunched up, and Mantas Markovicius is going to be absolutely fuming. He had a 5-second gap over Rick Cardle, and now the gap is going to be 1 car length, pretty much, between them. Just Emran Azar, who gets another chance to take the race lead into turn 1 of the restart. But yeah, Mantas, I feel a little bit sorry for him. He did everything right at the beginning of this race, as you said, Owen. He made up a huge number of places on the opening lap, 7 places, 6 places, sorry. But yeah, he has to do it all over again, this time from the lead of the race. There's 1 car there being waved past the safety car. That's Demko. And Stuart Baker picks up our race leader, the number 7, Mantas Markovicius, for at least 1 lap of safety car running.
Yeah, it's also important to note that Paolo Petrov took the car to the pit box and decided to retire. So yeah, he's out of the race. He didn't feel like the car could continue, I'm afraid. So the clock will tick down. 6 minutes 21 seconds ago.
Safety car in this lap.
So it will be back to racing with about 5.5 minutes to go. If the preparation in lap here for the safety car is is 2 regulations. So let's see if Imran Azar gets this opportunity at redemption. Rick Hardle, of course, go for the back-to-back here. Isaac Price as well has momentum to regain after that mistake. So a lot of storylines heading into these conclusive minutes of the championship.
It's a quick turnaround. The safety car is going to come in this lap, and we're going to be given 6 minutes of racing plus 1 lap. Just under 6 minutes will remain as Mantas starts to weave to warm his tyres. None of the other drivers behind have enough room to do that, and he's bolted Owen. He's gone for it early, and that's important because it means he needs to open up as much gap as he can to Azar, who by the looks of it was completely asleep at the wheel. Rick Cardle then has everything to do.
Yeah, so Azar was brilliant on the first safety car launch, but it's been Uno reverse carded on him. So Rick Cardle easily through into 2nd place, and he's probably got the confidence to try and snatch the victory late on. Watch out, Orloff a little bit late on the brakes, but he slowed it down just in time. Watching and waiting to see what happens. A lot of respect here in the single file lineup. Drivers not getting too close. But yeah, brilliant restart for Smalkovicius. Rick Hardle similarly taking Azar's poor launch to heart and making sure he punished it.
Yeah, a brilliant restart, calculated restart from Smalkovicius as we've got Azar in a wall. Sorry, he's not in a wall.
He wobbled
just
it.
Having a wobble.
That's all. So now he's plummeting down the order, down another 3 places from the sector 2 now. If it gets any worse, then yeah, Agostino and Price will want to know about it. But let's see, Dan Balla versus Daniel Orloff for the podium spot. Show a little bit more cooperation there. It's going to cost you both.
Yeah.
Gior has now slotted into 4th place. So Dan Balla's ambition, it's been taken away by his fellow countrymen.
Yeah, indeed. They're still going to fight though. Dan Balla to the outside. Gabor holds the inside line. He's not close enough to the back of Orlov to make a move just yet. Dan Balla trying to go around the outside. Gabor will have the inside covered surely, and that's Isaac Price in the background as well. Don't forget, he's trying to get that podium as well. He needs all the points he can get to cement his victory in the series, which is pretty much wrapped up anyway. But he still has to finish. But yeah, it's Orlov who leads this group with Gabor, Dan Balla and Isaac Price there in P6 with the fastest lap currently.
We've interviewed Isaac twice now, having taken victory in one of the 2 races. Obviously he's won both race 1 or race 2 in the 2 rounds. So yeah, he'll be happy with the championship, but you want to make sure if he's beaten, it will be by the better drivers. So he wants to gain as much as he can just to make absolutely sure. Jeff and Jacob there is wide out of piff. Yeah, and then Ipsale as well in trouble. That
Very
car is
far
absolutely
track.
destroyed.
Yeah,
Look
it's
at
been
the
over.
rear
It's
right
been
panel.
over. It's been on its roof. So there's been 2 cars side by side into one of the tighter corners, and that car has been on its roof.
Goodness me,
Very unusual. Martin Capel going for a move into the Brook hairpin on Greed. As Rick Cardle sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.94 for Rick Cardle. And we've got Dan Balla making a move on Gabor into Dean hairpin.
Wow.
Go on.
Yeah, this would be some going for race green to get this little bit of bragging over one of the team siders cars anyway, the Hungarian contest between these 2.
Oh, this is brilliant. Dan Balla's still got the outside line here, and he'll have the inside for Piff, and Isaac Price is going to be saying thank you very much because he'll be able to try and follow him through. But Dan Balla makes a legit move around the outside on Gabor Gior on lap 13. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, just to complete my point about Isaac, he knows he doesn't like to be beaten, but if it is a bad day for him, then he wants to be outclassed rather than being taken away by bad luck. A brief look at Stephen Martin going wide there, but
Rick Cardle is 0.8 of a second behind Mantas. Has Mantas made an error somewhere? How has that gap come down to nothing so quickly? Is Rick Cardle just on an enormous pace just here? 1 minute to go in the session before we get a lap added, and Rick Cardle's right there. He's less than a second behind. I do not know how that's happened.
Yeah, I'm afraid I've missed that entirely. It's all been going down in the battle for the 4th place at the moment. Let's see what Isaac does. He tries to hang it out on the outside line against Gabor. No look there. Oh, contact with the Sidus driver there. Imran Azar may have a chance to pick up a piece of that action, but no, it's denied. And they'll just carry on as usual. Daniel Orloff is so close, but he just has to find the lap time. If he takes another 3/10 of a loss from Dan Bala, then yeah, he will be vulnerable to the slipstream. And Ipsal out of the race. He can't continue with that absolutely mangled GT4 car, so that's unlucky for him. But yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah, that's totally fair enough. Dan Ballard's doing a brilliant drive here in P4. Who'd love to get ahead of Orlov. We're going to get... Well, how many laps are we going to get in this one? It's not going to be as many as race 1 because of the safety cars that we've had. But Mantas Markovicius comes across the line with 9 seconds to go. So we're going to get another lap, Owen. It's going to be a 16-lap race.
Yeah, race control should confirm that now. 16 laps are required to find ourselves a race 2 winner. And yeah, the Joe Holmes, Isaac Price duopoly has been broken once, and it could nearly be a lockout here for number 7 as opposed to number 6. So let's see what could happen now in this very, very last running.
Yeah, we're going to get a grandstand finish for P4, it looks like. A showdown between Dan Balla, Gabor and Isaac Price. And also at the front where Mantas Markovicius and Rick Cardle are fairly close together. Rick hasn't made any more gains since we last looked at the cameras with those two. So we'll keep the eyes on this fight for now as the drivers further ahead enter Tarzan.
A bit of contact between Maciek Klimczyk and Eoin Belhanouni battling for what was 15th, but now they're having to rejoin with a compromised bit of pace. Zdenek Sagash there, just able to overtake Maciek at the end there. So now Maciek 19th, El Hanouni 20th. So well done Sagash for a bit of opportunism there. But now final lap begins. It's still 3/4 of a second to decide it in Rick Cardle's chase, but it's still a lot to be decided, I'm sure.
Yeah, Mantas will make it a 4th new winner if he can keep the car on the road, as we've got Azar fighting with Kondrik down into Dean. This is for P7, and Azar on the inside trying to keep the place. Oh, and there's further contact between the two of them, and Kondrik will get the place done there. Further in the background, it's...
Patrick Hall like a missile, and he's just auto-spectated. That'll also be frowned upon, and that's no fault of Imran's his driving. Well. He was just barreled into, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Patrick Hall completely messed that up, straight into the side of Azar, and Azar is out of the race. Patrick Hall's out of the race in the final lap. But the final corner is upon us, Owen. Take these cars to the flag. Yeah, as Isaac's actually making a move on Gabor, it's not going to work, but we've got to focus on the leaders.
Smarkovicius, he completes his ambition after a great qualifying in the early goings for 2nd place on the grid. Then it fell away a little bit in race 1, but race 2 is his. He's driven superbly from 8th place in the reverse top 10
Isaac
to
Price.
Go all the way. And Isaac on the line. He's beaten Gabor Gior right on the line, 0.03 of a second there, and that confirms the championship without a doubt for Isaac Price. So what a way to do it, beating his sort of almost head-to-head rival to make absolutely sure of it. Well done, Isaac. Congratulations.
And Gabor loads him into the braking zone of the Dean Hairpin to say congratulations to him. Demco will be the final car across the line. We've got a 4th winner in GT4 Sprint Cup in 2024. It's Mantas Markovicius. Even in race 1 of round 1, Owen, with Victor Veloso, he was catching Victor, and they came together and handed the lead to Isaac and Joe. So this has been a long time coming. It took him 6 races, but he got there in the end. And what a way to do it. Absolutely fine form in race 1, brilliant form in race 2, a fantastic restart, a fantastic start to the race as well, is what's made the difference here today. So congratulations to Mantas and congratulations to Isaac on winning the championship. The inaugural GT4 Sprint Cup by NDR goes to Isaac Price, number 83.
Yeah, for sure. he said himself that his battles with Joe Holmes over the years, sometimes they get interrupted as the personal lives, personal matters get in the way. But there we go. It was definitely the favourite once wheel was turned. Isaac Price, he made a count. He didn't make. The one mistake he did make, he put it to bed and got on with the job. The safety car, of course, did give him a little bit of a reprieve. But yeah, it was a quality weekend again from Isaac Price, and he is the worthy champion. And hopefully GT2 challenge, I know what it's like to go up against him. He's even mentored me a few times, so I appreciate that. So let's see if the form continues into February and March for him.
Yes, 25 minutes and 9 seconds was the time that it took Mantas Markovicius to take victory in race 2 this evening, with Rick Cardle and Daniel Orlov taking the podium. Daniel Orlov, great performance.
Oh, for sure, yeah. That was outstanding to use the reverse grid and land on the podium. The excitement for ISSC racing, they've all been extremely competitive. Maybe the spotlight has been elusive to them until now when they got the 1-2 to start this second race. But yeah, a fantastic result to land the podium, and the remaining drivers for the team also strong in the top 10. So well done to Daniil.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Just, the final step of the podium going his way this afternoon. Daniel Ballard just narrowly missing out, but a great move on Gabor meant that he kept P4 in this race. Solid points and another under-the-radar performance from Dan Ballard, but more airtime to kind of show his skills on the camera, fighting with two of the best drivers in the sim. So Dan can be very happy with that one. Carol Kondrick there, P7, Nikitin P8, Bagdonas P9, and Motojutis getting a top 10. Eoin, it's been fantastic to commentate with you to have you in the commentary box with this one. Thank you for subbing in late for Travis. Really appreciate it. What did you think of watching this from this side of the camera?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with how it went. We got thrills out of qualifying. It was a good standard with Smarkovicius in the Group 1. He set the pace, and then Isaac Price in the second group came along, got the extra tenth of a second he needed to start on pole, and a lot of good battles as everyone was valid to start the race. There wasn't oversubscription in this one, so everyone who set a lap time and entered got to participate. Then, of course, race 1 was the class of the field with 3 guys. The quality they showed in qualifying was converted into the race, so they kept it smooth, with Rick Cardle, of course, stealing the win from third place. Beautiful drive for him. And then race 2 got a little bit more wild, but it was an excellent climb back up to the top spot for Mantas. And then Isaac Price, of course, has done the job he needed to do. He didn't retire the car, just made that one error, but he won it on the dash to the line. And yeah, a fantastic championship win for him.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you very much for that, Eoin. And thanks again for joining the commentary box for the race. Before we head to any interviews that we've got, let's look at the calendar for the upcoming season that we're covering on Sim Broadcast, the New Dimension Racing GT2 Challenge for 2024. You can sign up for that on the Live for Speed forum now. So please do that. We want to get that full. We want to have a full complement of drivers. So please head over to the forum and sign up for this if it is something that tickles your fancy. The GT2 class at 4 phenomenal tracks in Live for Speed. Eoin, I do believe we have an interview with Isaac coming up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. He will be relieved that championship coronation went to plan. So yeah, fair play to him.
Isaac joins us in the commentary box now. Isaac, congratulations on the championship, but no race wins today. That was pretty frantic out there. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's ironic. Winning the championship was probably my worst performance for a long time. But yeah, it was the first race was pretty clean. Just got overtaken at the start. Not much I could do about it. And just brought home a second. But the second race was a lot more chaotic. And I made a few mistakes there. So definitely left a little bit on the table. I think beating Mantas was never going to be on. But I probably should have got second from that. But My move I don't know if you saw it on the broadcast, but my move on Gabor in the last corner kind of makes up for it, to be honest. So I'm kind of happy with that.
We had to watch the leaders across the line and picked up your battle. You were side by side. You had a nose ahead running to the line. So we got part of it on the stream, but we didn't get the move, unfortunately. But yeah, to get that move on the final corner must have been pretty satisfying.
Yeah, especially seeing as me and Gabor were in the same voice chat. So yeah, it was almost made up for crashing into the wall all by myself early on in the race.
Yeah, what happened there? We heard that you just outbraked yourself and just a unfortunate error.
Yeah, I did some laps before on the normal Rockingham layout without like the open layout stuff, and I think the marker board for turn 1 is in a different place, and I just forgot that when I was kind of thinking how I could try and stop any overtakes because it wasn't really happening, and I just braked way too late and couldn't turn into the corner either because I would have hit someone. So yeah, just ran out of road to stop myself hitting the wall.
Just one of those errors that can just happen at any time. But yeah, I mean, race 2 was quite difficult getting through the field. I mean, you somehow managed to get ahead of Rick Cardle, and then, Rick Cardle was ahead of you, but you managed to get quite a long way ahead of Rick Cardle, and he sort of managed to jump you in a bunch of chaos that happened at the beginning of the lap. The top 10 reverse grid definitely shakes things up. And is it something you'd like to see more of, or how does it affect your preparation for the second race? Is it something you enjoy?
The second race is always the more enjoyable race. I think part of the issue is that with the fact that the races are so short, it means that a lot of it is about lap 1, whereas I think with a little bit longer race, you'd be able to like pick your way through and stuff. But I don't think I really had the pace to catch any gaps on Rick or Mantas, so it was always going to be about the start. And kind of when you've got that kind of oval turn 1, you're making it 3 wide, and then you realise that maybe someone hasn't seen that you're there, so you have to brake, and that's where Mantas got away. And Rick, I think they were battling kind of 2 wide in front of me, and then tripped over each other, and then I think guy in front of me braked really early when I had Rick looking kind of down my inside, so that caught me out as well. So yeah, just one of those days where everything didn't quite work out as I hoped, but if it was easy, it wouldn't be fun. So
Exactly. Thanks for that.
Hi Isaac, it's Eoin here. My question is actually to discuss the thing that did go well for you, which was your qualifying lap. How would you prepare to combat this Rockingham track? Because you got the balance of the high-speed oval and the technicals with Yentwood and Gracelands, for example. So how do you balance the setup to get a brilliant lap like that?
I think for quali, it's more just going high on the wing because you gain so much time on it in the infield. But in the race, it makes it almost impossible to overtake. So I went lower on the wing in the first race because of that. But I still didn't help. So I went higher on the wing because I thought maybe it would help me stay close through the final corner. But I just was missing something on the traction. But I managed to do a good quali lap. So it kind of saved me in that sense. And it's also one of those tracks as well where probably it's better to be on the second row and get the slipstream at the start. But because there's points for pole, it does give you a bit of an advantage. And the situation with the championship as well was like, if something went wrong in the first race, getting the pole might have been important. So I just tried to focus on getting a good position as I could.
And just finally, Isaac, we were talking about this in your interview after round 2, that not having Joe here was going to, maybe tar the final round, but actually the opposite was true. The competition seemed to hit a whole new level for the final round. Any comments on that? It's good to see, right?
Yeah, I think Rick was up there in the first round and he missed that round. Mantas, obviously, a lot younger and got a lot of talent, but I think he was a little bit disappointed with the fact that he couldn't match us. So maybe he put in a little bit more laps this time. I don't know, but yeah, he definitely had great pace. Like in the practice session before the race, he was doing like 0.0s on race fuel. So that was faster than I could do with the practice that I'd done. So yeah, he was very fast. But he's done those performances in the GTI Thursday events against Joe as well. So it wasn't a surprise to me. It's just, I think when you've got that little bit less experience, it's harder to always perform well, like to get the pace out of yourself on the times where it doesn't come naturally. That's where the experience helps a little bit more. But yeah, he's definitely got great potential. And yeah, I think the championship side was more about the fact that because Joe was closer, I know that all these guys can put in great performances. Gabor dominates Fox. Mantas battles Joe every week on GTI, and I think Rick usually wins the Ronnie's Tuesday's events. So everyone here is used to winning. It's good to have everyone on the same grid and see who comes out on top.
That's a great summary. I couldn't have put it better. Thanks very much, Isaac. Will we be seeing you at GT2 Challenge next week? I know you've got a busy calendar, but I just thought I'd ask that at the end.
To be honest, I didn't realise it was already starting next week.
Yeah, it's pretty soon, right? Quick turnaround.
Yeah, straight into it. I'll have to think about it. I'd be surprised if I don't do any races, but I'm not sure if I'll do all of them. But
fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. Well, hope to see you there, and thanks very much for your participation in NDR's GT4 Sprint Cup. It's been a great formula to put together, and success. Would you say?
Yeah, it's been great fun.
Good.
Yeah, obviously, hopefully, it gives NDR a little bit of a window to get back into it as well. It's been a while since they organised events, so it was kind of just good way to start the year.
For sure. Thank you very much, Isaac, as always, and hopefully we'll see you in the next few weeks for GT2 Challenge. All the best.
Thanks.
Isaac Price there, not with a win today, but he did take the championship win, Eoin. It was lovely to hear what he had to say, about the drivers. He's very right. Mm-hmm. We do have lots of people who win in different categories, and certain drivers are favoured to this sort of event. But yeah, Mantas did a great job in that final race. We do have one more interview, and it's with Cyril Bisset. Cyril got where did he finish in that last race? P19. Cyril, welcome to the commentary box. How did you find your third round of GT4 Sprint Cup?
Hi, thanks. Well, it was much better than I thought it would be, actually. I qualified P18, first time in the top 20. And actually, the same is true for both races. I finished P17 and P19, so pretty happy with the result overall. Though that maybe was a bit of luck with maybe some confusion or battles ahead of me, so I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty dramatic final race as well. The championship yielded some pretty hectic races further down the grid. Yeah, I mean, did you enjoy the battles that you were having? I mean, you seem to have fought your way up and down the field plenty of times this season. How do you enjoy fighting with all the cars that are on this super talented grid?
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, it was my first league series, and there's obviously a lot of the level range is pretty high. There's the likes of Isaac, Gabor, and company, and then we have in the lower field there are still some battles to be fought, and yeah, it's really interesting to do that.
Good stuff. Really great to hear from you. And yeah, you said this was your first series. So how did it go? Did you enjoy every race, or were there things that you need to work out? Which bits were difficult? Which bits did you enjoy specifically?
Well, I think I need to work a bit more on my setup, understand a bit more how it affects my performance in the race or in the quali, for that matter. Apart from that, I think I need to get better, to practice racecraft in general, to avoid losing most of my battles. But yeah, overall, it's really a nice experience, and I'll definitely try my hand at the GT2 challenge coming up this week.
Well, you preempted my next question. It's great to hear that you'll be signing up for that. Eoin, any questions for Cyril?
Can't think of anything, Cyril, but it's great to have you along, and I hope that went to plan for you. You had some great battles, I have to say. In race 1 in particular, you were well stuck in there.
Yeah, race 1 was the one I had most battles in. Race 2 it was a bit bit strange. There was an incident in turn 1, the first lap. I got down to P29, I think. Then I saw some other cars having their own battles, and I managed to take advantage of the confusion in the battles. Ended up P19, so top 20 finish for both races this time. Really happy with the result, and I'll see how it turns out for the general my position in the general Sprint Cup.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we'll hope to have an interview with you next weekend at GT2 Challenge. Yeah, thank you for participating in Sprint Cup, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
See you later. Cyril Basset there, the number 21, and with some mixed results, but it's his first championship, so that's some promising results there, Eoin, for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose he's got a good team behind him in Savage. So I hope he's encouraged, and we'll see him again very soon. So it's great to have brand new people come along and give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah, nicely said. I think, well, that brings us to a close for the championship. But those were the 3 rounds of the GT4 Sprint Cup. Isaac enjoyed it. Seems like the majority of the field enjoyed it. A completely unknown series, really, that was put together and concocted and has been talked about for a while, but never actually produced. And I think it was a massive success, and I can't wait to have it back on our screens. I hope that feeling is mutual with a lot of people. But you don't have to wait very long, because as we've been talking about all throughout the broadcast today, we have the GT2 Challenge kicking off next weekend on Sunday, the 4th of February. A quick turnaround for this 4-round GT2 Championship in Live for Speed. We hope everybody can join us for that, because it's going to be another epic event. Last run in 2021. So yes, please join us for that. Whether you're racing or joining us for the broadcast, we always appreciate your support. So please hit that like button, follow us, subscribe, do whatever you want to show some support. We'd really appreciate a subscription on our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that, then please head over to YouTube and just give our channel a subscription. We'd really appreciate that. You'll get notified when we go live. You'll get access to all of the video on demand, and give us a little bit something back to help us out. So thank you very much, everybody, for that. Eoin, anything to say before the end? I think this was a massive success. GT4 Sprint Cup. Yeah,
the GT4 Sprint Cup, absolutely a success. Yeah, it was definitely talked about when the mod was first unveiled. It was something that appealed to New Dimension Racing to have a go and formulate into this championship. Thankfully, the ambition has been realised. It took a while, but we got there, and it has certainly platformed into the classic GT2 Challenge coming back. And of course, thanks very much to everybody here at Sim Broadcasts for covering it this month. And of course, Travis will hopefully enjoy the VOD once he's back from Daytona.
Absolutely. Thanks again to New Dimension Racing, all of Race Control, and all the stewards for all they do every round to make this championship a thing. Thanks to Chris for the cameras and all that he does. Yeah, Travis, my co-commentator for round 2, rounds 1 and 2, enjoying Daytona today. But Eoin, you did a smashing job. Thank you very much for covering him.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Very, very pleased to do so, and hope to see you again soon.
Well, I'll be seeing you on Tuesday, hopefully, for Ronnie's Tuesday Fun Race. But from all of us here tonight for New Dimension Racing's GT4 Sprint Cup in Live for Speed, we wish you a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you next weekend for GT2 Challenge. From all of us here to all of you, have a good night. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.